Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well and you are loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you my esteemed subscribers. You are loved, celebrated and appreciated. Was Christianity spread by love? What do you think, Your Majesties? Yes or no? Some of you will say yes, some will say no. So those who say yes, we're going to see as the video progress. Those who say no, we're going to see as well as the video progress, Your Majesties. Now, when you talk about Christianity, what comes to mind is love. Okay? Love. But when you begin to go back a bit to how it evolved, you discover that it's not love all true. Okay, because when you talk about the origin of Christianity, some will tell you it started in the acts of the apostles, the actions of the apostles from chapter 1 downward, how Peter and other apostles took on their lives after the death of Yeshua, how they lived in brotherly love, share all they have in community, and they keep growing gradually, the community keep increasing, and voila, we have Christianity. But along the line, things happened. Yes, something happened that way, of course. And, you know, those who were even followers of this Yeshua were taken out. They were taken out. They were taken out by those who saw the potentials in these things. They know the power in community. People who saw the power in community. There are things that begin with good intention, but later on get infiltrated by evil. Okay, this is exactly the situation of Christianity. Yes, it started this way, that they were even hiding so that they can preach. They were even hiding to share together the little that they have. They were hiding to keep believing what they believed, to keep living the life that Yeshua left for them. Now, why do you think that they were hunted down and were taken out? They were hunted down and taken out by those who wanted taking over this thing that started growing, this thing that they've seen the potential in. This is a good thing. They've started gaining population. We should step in. We should step in. This is a good opportunity for us to control man, to control human. They saw how fast this thing was gaining population. They saw how fast people were beginning to pity that very man that they did wrong to. And people are beginning to be a believer of that, the teachings of that man. Not the believer of the man, but teachings of that man. Because they felt like that man helped them have a connection. If Yeshua was one of them, I've been saying this to you, they would have not taken him out. He was never one of them. And so also were the disciples. They were never one of them. Don't be bringing out the image of all these white people that Bible stories have put in your head when you were growing up. Don't be bringing that. Yeshua was never a white person. It's not the issue of, okay, color does not matter. All this while we believe it was white. Now that the truth is out, why are you saying color does not matter? So don't be thinking that things happen somewhere that they are pushing your mind to now. It did not happen that way, that place. It happened where it should have happened. And you know the place, the truth. Okay? So they saw the potentials in this thing. And they decided to get hold of it. And they stepped in. And that was how it started so beautiful and pure, became stained with human blood. Your Majesties. Now, there are factors that facilitated the spread of Christianity. So, for those of you who believe that Christianity was spread with love, this is it. But after some little time, just some little time, they didn't even give opportunity for this thing to get it ground. They took it immediately. And after some little time, it became something else. So there are factors that facilitated the spread of Christianity. One is the promise of salvation, because they saw the followers of this man, how they are living together, how free they are. Because they were followers of someone who had ascended, who knew life in total, who knew the world for what it is. And he in turn taught his disciples how to discover themselves, which they lived. They discovered themselves. And that's why I tell you, when you read from the closest person to Yeshua, some tell you that he ended up marrying her and they have children. When you read from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, you discover that everything that Yeshua talked about and preached, he wrapped it up with, is inside of you. You're powerful, you can do it, you have that spark, you just need to connect. When you connect, that is it. So he taught his disciples all these things, and they were living that life. They were contented. Because the moment you connect to yourself and you are saying, you don't have any problem in this life anymore. So people saw that this thing promised salvation. Why did it promise salvation? Because you are going to practice how to discover the source of life in you. Why do you need to practice? Because the world have, you see, we already, a lot have been done to us. We grew up in a world, or we are growing up in a world where they tell you, these things are prohibited, that thing are prohibited. Okay? So our souls are looking for peace. And that's why when people hear, when you do these things, you will have peace, people run to it. So these people were going about teaching and helping people to discover themselves and find peace within. The peace that the world cannot give. The peace that the world cannot give is inside of you. Number 2, the stories of miracles and healings. Of course, Yeshua do these things. Okay? History have proven it, that there was a man who lived and was called Yeshua, who had people who live after him. There were a lot of disciples, a lot of people who went through the line that Yeshua went through as well. Okay? When you are saying you become one with source, there is nothing you cannot do. That's exactly what Yeshua became. He became one with source. And so a lot of things he was performing, a lot of things he was doing, people look at it, okay, this is a miracle. So people were drawn by the healings. He could touch people and they get healed. Why do you think he could do that? Because he became one with source and connected to the source of life that is in him. Now, the other thing that facilitated the growth of Christianity, a lot of people don't want to talk about, because what they want to look at the good side is love, they live in love, they share in love. But all these things, the killings and everything that happened some years after Christianity started, a lot of us don't want to talk about it. And this is what is going to take me to the third thing, and that's even the major thing that helped Christianity to go around the world, is the holy wars. They call it holy wars. Holy wars. You know, when you talk about wars, holy wars, you think it's only in Islam that we have something like that is called the holy war. It's also happened in Christendom. Okay, what do you think the work of the Crusaders was? They told us they were only protecting Christians who were molested on their way to pilgrimage in Jerusalem, but that's not the only thing. Like, that's what they pushed to you. Their job was to protect pilgrimages. But they did quite more than that, Your Majesties. Okay, because this is the same Crusaders who went in search for the ring, the ring that belonged to Solomon, and the place where Solomon sealed out the demons that he worked with. These are the same Crusaders. So holy wars, the crusades that was carried out. Okay, a lot of people were involved in these things, and sometimes you're like, if this thing is about love, why this bloodshed? Okay, now according to Francis Bacon, that there were 5 causes of holy war. Number 1, to spread the faith. Number 2, to retrieve countries that were once Christian countries, even though there were no more Christians left there. Number 3, to rescue Christians in countries that were once Christians from their servitude of the infidel. To recover and purify consecrated places that are presently being polluted and profaned. 5, to avenge blasphemous acts or cruelties and killings of Christians. So, this do me, I do you thing, right? And these are the same people that tell you that came and told Africans to forgive the Europeans that came and imprisoned our ancestors. Okay, forgive and forget. But these people, they don't forgive, they don't forget. Alright. So, the first holy war was probably in October 312, when the Roman Emperor Constantine saw a vision of the cross in the sky. He won the battles against an army that was using pagan enchantments. Okay, historians regard this as a turning point in Christianity's fortune. The great series of Western holy wars were the Crusades, okay, which lasted from 1095 till 1291 CE. The aim was to capture the sacred places in the Holy Land from the Muslims who lived there. So it was intended as a war to right wrongs done against Christianity. The first crusade was started by Pope Urban II in 1095. The Pope also absolved all who took part in the crusade of all their sins. The first crusade captured Jerusalem after bitter fighting, and the residents of the city were brutalized and slaughtered by the Christian invaders. Your Majesties. So this is what happens when there is a crusade. There is a campaign for it, and if you want to go fight for the church, you want to fight for the mother church, you come forward, you have some training, okay? They give you some rules to adhere to, and off you go. You go do this battle, and you come back, your sins are forgiven. Because the Pope will absolve you of all the sins you've ever committed. So you can do anything you want to do, but the Pope is going to absolve you of your sins. Your Majesties. This is, oh my goodness. You go kill people, and then you come back. Somebody who sat in there and say, I'm the one representing God on earth, will now absolve you of the sins, the past sins you've committed, and the ones you committed recently. So this is why the crusade was propagated, because you go fight and you are rewarded. So the Knight Templars sprung from these crusades, and they formed themselves, they organized themselves as a religious body, okay, because they have rules and regulations to keep themselves going together. So countries that are dominantly Christian countries, they are kings that are working with the church, because that's how they work together as at that time. The king of a place work with the Pope, they work with the church, they share everything together, and the rest of them. This was how the Knight Templars became powerful, because people made them powerful. They gave them lands, gave them properties, they were happy with what they were doing, and the rest of them, how they were fighting the other people that they were fighting, and how they were winning the battle. Okay? So the first crusades captured Jerusalem after bitter fighting, and the residents of the city were brutalized and slaughtered by the Christian invaders. The invaders' conduct breached the principles of modern just war ethics, and the massacre still color Islamic politics to today. So when you look at Islam and their love for war, and they tell you holy war, it's not just them. It was something that they were doing to each other. And mind you, who are those that are in charge of the creation of these religions? They are still same people that have that the same people that created Judaism are the same people that created Christianity and Catholicism, and the same people that created Islam, whether you like it or not. It's not whether you accept. If you like, accept it. If you don't accept, it's the truth. So these people are always there sipping coffee, while you, the followers, are out there fighting the wars and killing yourselves. So I look at this thing as rituals. They are all those blood that were spilled. Who do you think is the one sucking out those blood that were spilled? Because they have told you that they eat your blood. They mix it with the Passover bread. That's what they said. You heard that, that's, what's his name? That's rabbi. That they tell it to your face, you don't want to believe it. But that's the truth. They mix your blood with their Passover bread and they eat it. And they send the body to factories where they produce your hamburgers for you. So they turn all of us to vampires, to cannibals and blood-sucking things. We become zombies. So there's a lot. I have a video about the Knight Templars. Maybe I'm going to stitch or put the link of that video at the comment section or the description. You have a lot of idea about the Knight Templars, their conquest, how they move around. And like I told you, it is the same Knight Templars that sprang. This is another segment of the Crusaders. The same Knight Templars are the ones that discovered the Ring of Solomon, the magic Ring of Solomon, and the place where he sealed the demons. They took these things and gave them to the Vatican. So you think that people that are controlling the world don't have knowledge about what is going on? They don't have knowledge about technologies. These demons that they are in possession of have all this knowledge. These demons will tell them. These demons are under their custodies. They chain these demons down. They are using these demons against you and me. There's a lot of things happening in the dark that we don't know. And because you don't know does not mean it's not happening. Okay? So, there was a time the church told you there's nothing like angels appearing. There's nothing like demons. There's nothing like... It's the same church now that is attesting to the fact that there are other beings that are moving around us. So, they told you those times so that you be off you be off guard. You don't protect yourself. But behind you, they were doing exorcisms. Why would there be exorcism if there are no demonic spirits? So these are questions that sometimes we have to ask ourselves. There's a lot more going on around the world that we can see, Your Majesties. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others. Stay safe, stay positive, always, Your Majesties. Bye for now.